Hi there everybody, welcome to part 2 of your pre-scene analysis. So in part 1, we went through the introduction of the company. I hope you have understood part 1 well. Please do not be in a hurry to, just because part 2 is available, I'll start going through it, I'll start reading it. No, you should be comfortable with the industry analysis, should be comfortable with the part 1, and you should also have started preparing a list of important topics which I have mentioned in the pre-scene. Plus, you should have also started making a list of risks which our company can face. I have spoken about both of this in the first part of the pre-scene analysis, so hope you have carefully followed the same. Again, be comfortable with part 1, have your list of topics ready for E3, P3 and F3, and have a list of risks ready which I have discussed in the pre-scene. So let's start with part number 2, where we are starting to speak about our company, Saefwell. We'll go through entire detail of our company and the operations of our company in part 2. So let's start. So Saefwell was founded in 1920 as a security company specializing in providing guards to protect clients' premises. So we started as a small security company back in 1920. Now just imagine a company that has been in business for 104 years. Is it possible to survive without huge growth, without good customer base, without goodwill? Absolutely not. So you need to remember that you are a company that's been in the market for 104 years, which means you are like a legacy business in your home country specifically. Everybody will know your business in the security, may it be physical security or cyber security market, because you've been in the market for such a long time. And every market goes through booms, recessions in 104 years. Your company has been able to survive all of this. So it says a lot about the company. So remember, you have been in the market for a very long time. So it's bound, so you are bound to have good reputation. Reputation risk comes into the picture over here because of our current standing. Because with 104 years in the market, naturally we will have had good goodwill, customer base, customer support, and all of this can possibly lead to reputation risk. So you need to remember, I have been in the market for 104 years. The company continues to offer physical security services, currently employing 460,000 security staff worldwide, operating in 74 countries. So it's a multinational company, very clear. Your operations are not limited to one country, one region only. 74 countries and 460,000 security staff. You can imagine the size of the business. So what I learn over here, straightforward, and what is going to be an exam question in my opinion, 100% rather, is going to be relating to your different currencies. So different countries is equal to different currencies. So currency risk and its management comes into the picture over here, because your home country's currency is going to be different to the currency in which your businesses are running. So F3 syllabus, how will the currency risk be managed? Different countries is equal to different employment rules, different government rules. So your political risk comes into the picture, which is again your P3 syllabus. And different countries means transfer pricing issues also come into the picture, which is your P3 syllabus, because goods, services, some kind of inventory, some kind of majorly for your business services will be transferred from your home office to another country where your operations are running. So what is the transfer price being involved in these services? that is an issue that can also come up, which is P3 syllabus. And because there is so many personnel to deal with in your organization, a strong culture will be needed within the organization and a strong code of ethics policy to ensure smooth and successful running of the business. The CIMA code of ethics is a sure shot again question in the exam. Some way, somehow they are going to ask it. So it's best that you revise it at this stage, because for your company, ethics is going to be a major consideration because of the large size of operations. So currency risk, ethics, both are top issues which I feel are going to come up. Let's continue. Saefwell has been a major provider of intelligence-led risk management services since 1970s. So 1920 to 1970, majorly we were focusing on physical security. From the 1970s, we have become major provider of intelligence services as well. So the company now employs 22,000 risk management consultants, most of whom are based in the company's head office in Barland's capital city and at 4 regional offices around the world. So your main office is in Barland's capital city, and then you have 4 other regional offices around the world. So now again think, because you have your regional offices, those offices can be your assets, or the office furniture, computer within those offices are your assets. So you own assets in different currencies, so your translation risk again comes into the picture over here. This is again F3 syllabus. Those who have done your E3, P3 and F3 revisions, what I'm discussing right now will make sense to you. Those who have not done the revision will now have clear indication that these are important topics which you need to be clear about. Next, risk management consultants expect to travel to assignments, enabling the company to provide almost worldwide coverage for its services. For example, a company in India needs our penetration testing services. So our risk consultants from Barland will fly to India and provide that service. So we are pretty much a worldwide business. Saefwell has completed consultancy and training projects in 132 countries over the past 20 years. So these are all your core competencies. You are operating in 74 countries. You have completed 132 consultancy and training projects. You have 460,000 security staff. You have 22,000 risk management consultants. All of these are strengths for your business because your backbone is so strong. The company was then, so we've completed 20 years. It further shows the nature of our company, which is risk seeking to always stay ahead of the market. The company was quoted on the stock exchange in 1991. Saefwell provides its own training programs for security guards, ensuring that all exceed the minimum requirement. So you provide the training and they exceed the minimum requirement for the licenses. The company provides ongoing training as well to ensure that all security staff are aware of their responsibilities and can deliver them in a safe and professional manner. Now very again clear, we already know we are a quoted company. We discussed it on the first page, but since we are listed, questions can easily come up raising capital, debt finance, equity finance, decision making on the weighted average cost of capital, decision making on acquisitions, and everything along those lines. So it will be important to have proper quality controls, internal controls in place, because there is heavy regulation and reputation at stake, specifically in the physical and intelligence security market, the market that we are part of. So the importance of quality control in our programs, the importance of internal controls for our business to make sure that these programs are actually working to their full efficiency, it's going to be important. P3 syllabus. Next, let me just adjust my screen. So Saefwell also pays well. So we also pay well, exceeding competitors' hourly rate by as much as 10%. So which means people will want to work for my business, right? Because I am paying more than my competitors. So why will somebody not want to work for Saefwell? Such a good company, such good background, such good business details, and paying 10% more. So this is a competitive advantage for our business which you need to keep in your mind. Next, Saefwell provides the following physical security services. We already know this because we have done the industry analysis, but we'll go through this again because it's part of the pre-scene naturally. So physical security, the first service that we provide is reception services. So large office buildings usually have security measures in place to ensure that only employees and legitimate visitors can obtain access. You just don't want anybody to get access to large office buildings. So there is always a reception. Those measures might include requiring staff to operate a gate, using their staff pass or identity card, and asking visitors to sign at the reception desk. These are different controls which have put in place. Saefwell uses experienced staff to provide reception services because intruders could gain access to sensitive information, which can be a big issue for your company because you are the security staff. Plus, it can be an issue for a client where if a loss has occurred, there is very much possibility of a lawsuit against your company as well. So controls to make sure that these controls which are mentioned on your screen, like checking the identity card, opening the gate, making sure that these controls are actually working are important. So that's reception service. Second, site security. Companies often employ security guards to protect factories and storage sites to prevent theft and safeguard your staff. So procedures again over here can include checking credentials of employees, checking the vehicle loads, patrolling the sites to check whether everything is in order. So many of Saefwell's site security staff have previously served in the military. So please remember, you are hiring not just anybody, staff with good background. That is why, maybe you have been able to grow because your service is unique. So since you are closely working with clients, you are providing this service to clients, right? So your relationship with the clients and the lifetime customer value will be of high importance. You don't want to lose the customer. This is a very, very important thing to understand in this industry. If a client wants site security, you give it to them. If they want reception service, you give it to them. If they want, for example, a janitor service, which is not really your job, companies still go ahead and provide that service so that the client knows that if there is any problem, Saefwell will help me out. If there is any service that I need, Saefwell will provide it for me. So increasing the client relationship, increasing the lifetime customer value is very, very important in this industry. Because if the client gets this service from somebody else and then realizes that that company is also providing site security, so let me just go with that company is providing me everything. Why am I going with Saefwell? So providing more which is within your remit and which is something which you can easily provide to increase the lifetime customer value is important. Next, we have retail security. So supermarkets and other large retailers can lose significant amount of goods due to theft and shoplifting. So Saefwell can provide support by providing teams of security staff to deter theft. Security officers can be ununiformed or uniformed to whatever the preference is of the client. Saefwell's shop security staff are trained to gather evidence. They call the police when they identify cases of theft. Saefwell provides, so these are your physical security services: reception, site security, retail security. But please remember the concept of client relationship and lifetime customer value, which I have mentioned. Now, coming to intelligence-led services. So for intelligence, first is risk advisory service. Now, Saefwell's clients often seek independent advice on the risks associated with strategic business decisions. For example, a company can go to Saefwell and say that I'm launching this new product. What are the risks associated with this product? Saefwell is an expert, so our external specialist consultants will provide this background. Just giving you an example. So external specialist consultants might be better informed about potential risks and may be able to alert the board to risks that have been overlooked. That is why they seek specialist services like Saefwell. So Saefwell maintains a detailed database of the threat profiles associated with doing business in 97 countries. Major advantage for us is we do business in so many countries, so we know the risk, we know the profiles of that particular country. So we can advise on strategic risks associated with international expansion, either through investment or by conducting a new business with foreign suppliers or customers. Whatever the strategy risk may be. Strategy can be developing new product, developing new market, developing new customer, developing new supplier. We are able to answer these questions with a risk analysis because of my company's profile. So data will be a huge asset and risk area for this business. We have all of this data that we have stored. We have access to huge quantity of internal and external data as we will be working collaboratively with customers. So it's going to be very important for us to understand. So it's going to be very important for us to know the benefits of data and the risk of data. So privacy of this information must be of primary concern. We know real world examples where companies have paid millions of dollars because their data which they have stored has not been kept safely. This is your P3 syllabus, right? So Saefwell's consultants are also experienced in developing risk assessments associated with other factors such as new industries or launching new products. Like I said, any strategy risk you are able to help with. The firm has considerable expertise in gathering information from online sources such as social media and even the dark web. If requested, Saefwell's consultants can determine whether there is any reason to believe that the client's business is under threat. For example, there could be indications that environmentalists have targeted a client for protests. And because of this reason, you know that anybody in the same industry can also be targeted with this, protest, for example. So you have all of this external market data available. This also tells us that in this market, risks and our job specifically is going to be constantly changing and fast moving because of the nature of this industry. So organizations must be flexible and innovative. Saefwell will also need to be flexible, innovative to meet customer needs and beat competitors. So first one was your risk advisory service in intelligence services. Second one is corporate investigations. Saefwell can plan and conduct a tailored investigation to address any concerns that clients have with respect to operations or business relationships. Investigations can focus on a wide range of issues. First can be if there is a fraud by a member of staff, you can hire Saefwell for a corporate investigation. So clients may also have a clear idea of the identity of a fraudster, but they don't have any evidence. So Saefwell will help you gather that evidence because of the corporate investigation data that it will ask from you, and because of its experience will be able to understand the problem. Second, the accuracy of information provided. Let's say you have a royalty payment agreement with another business, but you want to check if the correct amount of royalty is being paid. Again, you will need a corporate investigation team which Saefwell can provide. Again, investigating the accuracy of information. Let's say you have purchased a company and you are entitled to 10% of the profit, but that company is reducing its profit, book profit, intentionally so that it has to pay you less. You want to check this. You can again get specialists of Saefwell to do this job for you. So we provide corporate investigation services as well. Third, penetration testing. From our industry analysis, it is already very, very clear that penetration testing services are on the rise, and this is a huge growth area, growth market, which businesses in this industry are focusing on. So good thing that we are already providing this service. Saefwell's consultants can evaluate clients' security systems, both physical and online. Security checks can involve documenting and reviewing control systems, looking for weaknesses so that you can advise on how to improve. Penetration tests of IT systems are also often asked. For example, consultants might attempt to trick staff into revealing their IT system login details. If our consultants can do it, anybody else can do it. So there is a risk in the system which is identified. So Saefwell will have all of these different techniques to penetrate businesses, physical systems or IT systems, because again of our experience, our background. Next service, the fourth intelligence service we offer is training. Saefwell's consultants are frequently asked to provide training to update technical skills and knowledge of clients' managers in roles that involve risk management. Clients also seek training to inform and equip their senior managers and directors who have the responsibility for supervising controls and risk management procedures. So how risk management needs to work? What are the controls to put in place? Those are the kind of training, the high level of training that Saefwell provides. So it's a big responsibility that we have as a business. All of Saefwell's consultants have the necessary skill to facilitate training courses. Using its consultants in this role enables Saefwell to ensure that its training courses make the best possible use of the consultant's experience. So the consultants that we have, the risk consultants that we employ, are going to be very, very important for the business. Saefwell relies on both physical and intelligence-led security services to generate revenue. Now, as we know, we are already in both the markets, physical as well as the intelligence services providing market. So physical security and intelligence. So the following analysis is based on the company's financial performance for the financial year ended 31st December. So they've given us two pie charts. Both are showcasing the percentage of physical security against intelligence security, first revenue analysis and then operating profit. So first, if you look at the revenue chart, you will see that 85% of the revenue is coming from physical security and only 15% of the revenue is coming from intelligence. Now let me think very logically over here. We are a company that have been in the market for 104 years. From 1970, so pretty much 54 years, we have been providing intelligence-led services. And intelligence-led services is the market which has major growth, which is where the expansions are happening, which is where the new opportunities are. We have learned this from the industry analysis as well. So my question is, why is intelligence-led only 15% of my revenue? Which means some major opportunities, major chances are being missed out to gain revenue. And this is further shown in the operating profit chart, because 15% of the revenue comes from intelligence, but that generates 26% of my profit. Which means the intelligence-led services market is the more profit generating market, is the market that is giving me better margins. But still, it's only a small percentage of my revenue. So my question is, are my directors not seeing this? And if they are seeing this, is there a plan to increase or expand or really grow in the intelligence-led security market? Because that is the one which is generating higher profit for me. It is the market with higher growth. It is the more, let's say, prevalent market in today's modern business. So why am I not focusing on it? So now you know that for the company to move forward, for the company to have good growth avenues, focus on the intelligence-led securities market will be important, because only right now it's 15% of my revenue, but it generates 26% of my profit. Physical security, no doubt, you'll continue to offer, but there could be greater focus or should be greater focus on the intelligence-led market. So it is very evident from these two charts that intelligence-led services are the future of this market. How we develop our services and our client base will be very important to the success of the company. Over here, what I'm seeing is maybe an innovative performance management tool within each department can be used to understand where the slack is, where we can upgrade, which financial metric we should focus on, which internal process we should focus on. So the metric of the balance scorecard is what I'm thinking, which can be introduced to further appraise performance in a better way, to highlight areas of growth. Also, examining performances of divisions offering different services can be looked at. So your EVA, SCA, triple bottom line can be tested this way. Economic value added, triple bottom line can be tested this way. This is your E3 syllabus. Balance scorecard and different measures to measure the performance of each division within an organization can be looked at to understand where we can improve. After that, they've given us extract from Saefwell's annual report. So they provided us the services that we offer. Now we have extracts from the report. So in this report, there are three main things to know: mission, vision, and values. These three are the pillars for any organization. You will have to hammer it into your mind that no organization can be greatly successful if it doesn't follow its mission, follow its vision, or follow its values. So whenever in the strategic case study exam, please remember to use mission, vision, values in your answers. For example, when you are writing anything about your company, you can start your answer by saying one of our core values are being innovative. So this will tell the examiner that you know the core values of your business. It adds integration marks, it adds business skill marks. So all of this is very important to understand, to know your company firstly. But second, you are getting great ideas to include these explanations which I am giving, or include these words in your mock question writing to gain better, higher marks. So please make sure that you focus on these, core values, mission, vision that that I'm going through with you. So firstly, our mission. Saefwell's mission is to provide clients with the security solutions and services that they require in order to be able to focus on their core businesses. So we provide our clients with these security solutions so that they can focus on their business and not worry about other security issues. So our job is to provide a safe, secure focus on our major business is to provide a safe, secure environment so that the client can do their business. Any new service that you are also looking to involve or come up with, you need to keep this in your mind that my vision is to provide something that is 100% foolproof, that is good value, so that the customer focuses on their core business. Next, vision. Saefwell's vision is to be the security industry's most trusted provider. Okay, so we want to be the most trusted provider. We already know that as of now we are second in terms of revenue all over the world globally. So we want to become the most trusted provider, and we want to take this step forward. So again, focus maybe on intelligence led services might propel us forward, because that is where the major growth is. So our vision is to be the first number in this market. Coming to values now. First core value is Saefwell is responsive. So if there are any issues within the business or an issue that the client faces, we respond quickly. Also, if there is a external market development which we need to be aware of, we are aware of the same and we make the changes. So there is a response system in my business. Next, Saefwell is innovative. Always, we want to be innovative. So again, innovation in the intelligence-led market is what we need right now. Saefwell treats his employees with respect and cares about their safety. That is why they are working with us. That is why we offer 10% extra than our competitors. But these are my core values which I need to be very, very certain about. So remember, mission is to provide safe security solutions. Second is to become number one. We are number two right now. Number one is Grover Facilities. We know that. And then our values are responsive, innovativeness, and treating employees with respect. These are key cornerstones which I want you to remember and use when you go to mock question writing. Please remember that. These are very important aspects which I don't want you to miss or skip. Next, Saefwell's board of directors. So on our board of directors, again, very important reason to know the board of directors is firstly, because if you don't know the people who are running the business, and if we don't know the background of the people who are running the business, naturally we can't understand the mindset of the business, right? So that's one reason why we need to know the board of directors. Second, again, like I said, with the core values as well, with the mission, vision, and values, I want you to know what each director's competency is and then use it when the time comes in your mock question writing. For example, Dr. Pratima is a non-executive chairman. So Pratima holds a doctorate in finance. She had a successful career in banking, including a period in which she served as a chief executive for a major commercial bank. So she has a doctorate in finance, like a PhD, above a master's. Great knowledge. Plus she has good working knowledge as well. She's been a CEO of a commercial bank. She retired in 2020, joining Capital City University as a visiting professor. Pratima joined Saefwell as a non-executive in 2022. So what is her core merit? Finance background, knowing the operations of large businesses because she's been a CEO and she's been a university professor as well. So now I know that I have a non-executive chairman who has all these qualities. When you go to mock question writing, if there is any question about finance, raising finance, you can use Pratima as a name that you suggest in your writing because it will add very good business orientation marks. For example, let's say you're talking about finance. You start your answer, middle of your answer, or end your answer anywhere. You say that, okay, let's take the opinion of Dr. Pratima because she is the finance expert and is also representing on the board. So her opinion will be valuable or valued. Anything like that, if you write and incorporate in your answer, it tells the examiner that you have gone through the pre-scene, and trust me, it will add unbelievable amount of weightage to your answer. I'm not saying that just by writing that you're going to get the marks. No, but it adds very good business acumen to your answer, and it's not taking any effort. So we are knowing all of this pre-scene knowledge so that we can use it, so that we can actually inculcate it in my mock writing. Specifically, the company's comparative advantages, the extracts from the annual report, and what each director is good at, you should know. So her expertise and technical understanding of finance will come in handy when dealing with finance issues and raising finance. We already know that this is going to be a capital intensive business. So all the finance help that we can get, we will need. So her knowledge about the external market will be important as she has been in the finance industry for a very long time. Next, we have Greg, who is the Chief Executive Officer. Over here from your P3 syllabus, it will be very important to know the roles of a chairman, roles of a CEO. Both are different. So P3 syllabus. Now Greg is the CEO. Greg is a qualified accountant. He trained as an auditor with a large accountancy firm, raising to the position of the firm's managing partner for Barland. So he has been part of an accountancy firm in the audit department. Greg left the firm to join Saefwell in 2019 as CFO, Chief Finance Officer. And then he was promoted to CEO in 2021. So now we have a qualified accountant and a person with great audit knowledge, or audit is checking. So great checking knowledge. An auditor will know how the audit committee works, how the internal controls work, how the risk committee works, and guess what? This is very much aligning with my intelligence-led services and also with the risk management aspect of security services, right? So we have the right person as the CEO as well. This is his competency. Knows all the business details because of his auditing and finance background. And we already know how important intelligence-led services are for our business. Because of his audit background, he will know the checks and the industry areas that need to be looked at, which is again very prevalent in your intelligence-led service offering. This is important for the CEO who is responsible for the company's operations. Next, we have Bai Jing, Director of Physical Security Services. So Bai has a master's degree in human resource management. Remember, for physical security, the main thing to manage will be your human resources, because you have so many, the large number of employees. So managing them is going to be important, and it's a good thing that this director has a master's degree in human resource management. So she has worked as a human resource manager in several large companies. Background is also good. She joined Saefwell as a senior manager in human resources in 2018 with specific responsibility for physical security staff. Bai was promoted to Saefwell's board of directors for physical security services in 2022. So this is going to be arguably one of the most important parts of our business because it generates so much profit, so much revenue. It's the major revenue generating business for me right now. So it's one of the most important parts of my business. And it's being run by a person who has great background. It's a good thing. Though this business does not have the greatest growth aspects, we know this. Greater growth is in intelligence. It is still a good revenue generating unit for us. So her past work experience is going to be important. Then we have Murat Aydin. She is Director of Intelligence-led Security Services. So Murat has a degree in computer science and has spent his early career working in systems development for a major bank. So Murat is has the banking background, which is going to be again very important. So he's also served as a computer audit specialist with a major accountancy firm. So worked in audit, worked in systems development for a bank. So we'll again know the controls. So we'll again know the IT safety which is needed. So Murat joined Saefwell in 2016 as a senior consultant in IT security and was promoted in 2021. So any technical matter on new developments, new IT services, new intelligence-led services, new IT security could go through him. That's his competency. Next we have Sabine, who is the Chief Finance Officer. So Sabine has a degree in economics and is a qualified accountant. She has worked for several manufacturing companies and has spent several years working overseas before returning to Barland in 2015 to join Saefwell. Sabine was promoted to CFO in 2022. So she has worked in many varied roles in other leading companies. She knows how a large company in this industry works. Firstly, in the industry, in the market, she has worked for several manufacturing businesses, which will turn out to be our clients because manufacturing businesses need physical security, intelligence security. So her connections in that way could help first. Second, she has worked for large companies. We are also a large company, so she will know the finance management in large companies. And third, she has worked abroad as well, which will give us better, let's say, safety because we are a multinational business. She will know how to manage finances in different currencies. That's her competency. So she could help us manage and deal with finance related issues because major manufacturing businesses are also capital intensive. So how to manage capital, how to work the capital around will be something important that she will be aware of. So her presence and experience in this leading role is going to be important. Again, she is an expert in her role. Then we have John Sokosi, Director of Legal, Risk and Business Ethics. So John has a bachelor's degree in law and a master's degree in international law. Very important because we are a multinational business. So knowing international law, international risk, international rules of ethics, going to be very important. He's a qualified lawyer. He spent much of his career working for a commercial law firm before moving to an insurance company as its in-house lawyer. So he knows the kind of claims that come up. So he knows the kind of, he's been part of a commercial law firm as well. So he knows the day-to-day running of the law and he knows the insurance company issues, the companies or the claims that insurance companies go through. So he will be better prepared to deal with legal problems, risk problems, ethics problems. John was promoted to Saefwell's board of director in 2020. Arguably one of the most important parts of the business because our legal, risk and ethics aspect, which is part of our internal systems as well, is key. If our legal areas are not clear, if our risk management is not good, if our business ethics are not good, then what are we portraying to my clients? A business that is offering risk services, ethics services, intelligence services doesn't have its own house in order? That's the question that comes up, right? So his past work experience, where he has worked through different businesses where legality, risk related decision making, and ethics related decisions will prove vital for us. He has already been through all of this through his law career, through his insurance work stint. So that experience will add, let's say, benefit for us. And this is his competency. So any legal matter, risk matter, business ethics matter, you can suggest John's name. After that, we have Professor Martin Anderson, Senior Independent Director. So Martin had a successful academic teaching and researching in international business before being promoted to the position of assistant principal at Central City Technical University. So he was majorly a teacher, a research individual at a tech university. Martin retired from academia in 2020 and Martin joined Saefwell's board as a senior independent director in 2021. So since he has been a respected individual teaching at a university, he might be able to help us secure successful, ambitious candidates in this field, which may help the business moving forward, because we want to look at expansion in the intelligence-led services market, right? So his knowledge or his, let's say, persona is going to be important for us. Again, something to keep in mind. This is his competency, which you can use. Next, we have Nils Fall. Nils is an independent non-executive director, was a senior actuary with an insurance company, being promoted to assistant director in 2015. He retired from this insurance industry in 2019. He has an active interest in arts, currently serving as a board member of Barland National Opera. So his background and expertise in the subjects of economics. Actuary means knowing economics, knowing external market, knowing your math calculations, which is very important for an insurance company, in decision making is invaluable for us. So any technical discussions about external analysis, about market trends could go through Nils. Next, we have Magdalena, who is the non-executive director. So Magdalena has worked in procurement for a major car manufacturer. Procurement. She has held a number of specific roles, including being responsible for the smooth operation of the manufacturer's supply chain. Magdalena retired from full-time employment in 2019, and she has served on the board of a major international charity. She joined Saefwell's board in 2022. So procurement is a very important job for large car manufacturers, which involve finance, safekeeping, checking, proper inventory management. All of these are important functions for our business because we provide these services to other clients. So her involvement within these functions is something that will help. So these are the core competencies of each of my directors, which I am supposed to know so that I can use it when the time comes in mock question writing everybody. Now, after going through all of these directors, I found out that on the executive side or on the non-executive side, we see that there is no board representation provided to IT. Yes, there is a director which has knowledge of IT. Let's put it under, some knowledge. If you see, Murat has that background of IT security, but there is no specific board representation given to IT services within my company. IT is a very important business for us because of the amount of data that we handle, the amount of, just the employees that we have, all of this organizational data that we have. So appointing a chief informations officer could be an exam situation because the use of a CIO, the roles of a CIO are part of your P3 syllabus, which we need to be very clear about. So this was an opportunity that I saw which was not included over here, so I thought I should discuss it. Now to board responsibilities. We already know what each director is good at, but then they've given us a board breakdown as well. So at the top we have Greg, Chief Executives. Under that we have Bai, looking at physical security, Murat looking at intelligence security. Then we have Sabine looking at finance. Then we have John looking at legal risk business ethics. So pretty much all functions are given to one person. Everything related to finance goes under Sabine. Everything related to legal risk business ethics goes under John. So there are different functions that we have created. So this identifies at the head office like a very functional structure. For organizations that are growing, that are large, that are vast, a functional structure to start with is okay, but expansion to a divisional structure, specifically in our case, because we have such large representation in different number of countries with 4 different regional offices as well. So having a divisional structure could help based on let's say geography. For example, Europe is one division, Asia one division, Southeast Asia another division, for example North America another division. So divisional based structure could be the next step forward for our company. So I just want you to have the knowledge of a divisional based structure and a matrix structure from your syllabus areas. But right now we have a functional structure in place. After that, very important information is given to us in terms of the committees. For this, your P3 knowledge is the most important thing for you to have. Only then you will understand it. Because the corporate governance code says that every listed organization should have 4 committees: audit, remuneration, nomination, and risk committee. So it's a very good thing that my business, which is such a large business, is complying to this first. But let's make an overall view now. Looking at all of my directors, executives, non-executives, we can clearly see that all of them are highly qualified, highly experienced, and they merit their positions. Some of the directors are new. They have been appointed to their roles in 2021, 2022, 2023. It's okay, but they have been working with the organization before that in another capacity. But they are well educated as well and experienced. So they will be able to propel the company forward. From corporate governance, the first tick mark is having these committees. It's a good thing. But also there are other corporate governance rules. The other rule is that CEOs and chairmen should be 2 separate people. Tick mark. Greg is the CEO. Dr. Pratima is the non-executive chairman. Okay, good. Being met. The corporate governance rule says that the board of directors should be made up of equal number of executive directors, equal number of non-executive directors, so that there is not too much power given to the executives. Over here, we see that the board is not made up of equal number of executives versus NEDs. We have 4 executive directors plus the CEO, 3 non-executive directors plus the chairman. So there is an imbalance which is seen over here. So from the corporate governance perspective, 1 non-executive director needs to be added. Now, whenever you're talking about internal controls, when you go to mock question writing or appointing a new director, you can keep in mind that there is lack of IT representation on the board. Plus, there is 1 non-executive director which is less to bring balance to the board. So you can suggest accordingly now. That is why this analysis is very important. So imbalance is seen in the board. CEO and chairman is two different people. Good thing. Presence of committee is there. Good thing. But all the committees mentioned for a big company like ours must have 3 independent non-executive directors part of them. Over here we see that chairman is, for example, let's pick the audit committee. In the audit committee, chairman is part, plus there are 2 independent non-executive directors. Same way, risk committee, chairman is part, 2 independent. So there were 2 non-executive directors only. The chairman can be part of that committee, but he cannot chair that committee. So he cannot be the leader of that committee. So from the corporate governance perspective, again, if one non-executive director is added and that independent non-executive director becomes part of the audit committee, risk committee, nominations committee, because that's where the chairman is also on the committee, right? Then I would say that the committees are well staffed. As we are a big company, appointing another NED who could be part of these committees could be the way forward. Only the remuneration committee right now has 3 independent non-executive directors part. All the others has 2 plus chairman, 2 plus chairman, 2 plus chairman, which is not wrong. But for a big company, 3 independent non-executive directors and then the chairman can be part of that committee is the right way forward. So this is one suggestion or something that came up to our mind during this discussion. That is why it's important for me to point it out to you. Saefwell's chief internal auditor reports to the audit committee. This is good practice, standard practice. Internal auditor reports to audit committee reports to the board of directors. Simple standard practice. The rules of different committees, the roles of different committees are important to understand, which is again very, very clear in your P3 syllabus area. So this was understanding the board of my company. Next, we have principal risks. Guess what? You have already done the risk analysis, because from the very beginning, I have asked you to list down the important risks which my company could face. The important risk areas which my company will, be facing. So I hope you have created that list of risks already with you. Let's keep that in mind and then go through this principal risk which Saefwell has identified in its pre-scene, in its company operations itself. So let's start. The first risk is physical security and intelligence services rely heavily on our ability to recruit and train large number of staff. If we are not able to recruit and train the staff, we can't provide our service. So what are we doing for this? We have strong human resource policies in place to deal with screening new staff. Saefwell monitors staff turnover closely and is responsible to emerging concerns about staff retention. Our core values are also of being responsive. So first risk is about ability to recruit and train large numbers of staff. Only then we can provide our service. To mitigate this, we are trying to be as responsive as possible to staff turnovers and focus on human resources policies. Second, the nature of physical security and some intelligence security services expose staff to health and safety risk. Physical security assignments can require staff to work in dangerous environments. Consultants on intelligence-led assignments may be exposed to health and safety risks during their foreign travel. So second risk is health and safety risk. How are we mitigating this? All of the assignments are subject to rigorous risk assessments. Staff are trained to operate in specific high-risk environments as appropriate to their assignments. Consultants are briefed on all risks associated with travel and are provided with all necessary vaccinations. So second risk was health and safety. How are we dealing with it? By rigorous risk assessments, by training my employees in high risk environments, and being as preventive as possible for travel. Third risk, providing risk management services exposes Saefwell to reputational risk. We already noted this. The provision of physical security services creates a risk of injury to security staff, client staff, third parties, bystanders, anybody. Intelligence-led security services could leave the company's reputation at risk in the event of allegations that clients were advised poorly. So again, now there is a reputational risk which is spoken about in terms of physical security, injury, and in terms of not giving proper advice. How are we mitigating this? Saefwell's risk assessments prior to acceptance of any assignment take the risk of reputational damage into consideration. If we feel that by doing something wrong in this specific area it's going to hugely affect my reputation, you pull out. So third risk was reputational risk, and how is it being managed? Before any assignment, keep reputation in your mind. Last, Saefwell enters into complex, long-term, high-value contracts, particularly in relation to physical security. Contract terms can prove onerous. For example, foreign contracts may be billed in clients' currencies. So how do we deal with this? All contracts are subject to detailed review. Ongoing contracts are reviewed regularly, and any adverse issues are identified and managed where possible. So currency risk is very, very clearly mentioned in my risk report. So your currency risk management, invoicing in your home currency, bill discounting, and other currency risk management techniques, 100% question is going to come up in it in the exam. So it's a top issue. F3 syllabus, I've already pointed it out. Next, Saefwell is subject to information security risk as well, IT risk as well. And to prevent this, we have invested heavily in cyber security controls and defenses. I have already provided this as, or rather I have already discussed all of these. I have already provided all of these as risk areas, which and I have provided corresponding revision areas as well for you on the same. But from the beginning, if you've been listening to me, then this principal risks which they have identified have already been covered by us. But it was part of the pre-scene, so we go through them. Again, my question is, but are these the only risks that we are facing? Why are we limiting our risk analysis? There are a lot more risks which I can think of. Big data risk, personal data risk, government policies change, litigation risk, staff turnover risk, flexibility of management, financial risk. We have discussed a whole bunch of risks which have not even been mentioned over here. So that is where your risk list, that is where this risk analysis that we discussed, you need to combine both of them and understand what the major areas are in terms of risk for your company. Because we are repeatedly talking about risk, the COSO ERM framework, Enterprise Risk Management Framework, is important. It brings the discussion of the COSO model of internal controls as well. These theories could come in handy when you are writing your answers on risk framework, internal controls framework, which is there in your P3 syllabus. That is why I am mentioning them to you. That is why I am discussing them with you. So this was part 2 of my pre-scene analysis, where the entire company operations, services, people who are running the company has been spoken about. Your job is to very carefully now go through part number 2, make the list of important topics, again E3, P3 and F3, very comfortably understand the stuff that I have explained, and then move on to part number 3, which is financial analysis of Saefwell.